secret that visiting Disney World is very expensive. Seeing an initial price of a Disney World vacation can definitely send you into sticker shock, but let's talk about 9 tips that can help you to save hundreds on your next Disney World vacation. The first tip you're going to want to use to save money when visiting Disney World is to visit during the off-season. During peak seasons such as the holidays and summertime, that is the busiest time at Disney World, which equates to one of the most expensive times that you can visit the parks. Visiting during the off-season is not only great for less crowded parks, but generally it is less expensive to visit during those times. In doing some research, I checked out the Disney World ticket calendars, and it looked like the middle of the summer and beginning of the fall was some of the most expensive times to actually visit the park. But then I noticed September of this year, and that is one of the cheapest times to visit for the rest of this year in 2022. You see, in the month of September, a single park day ticket costs about $107, when at other times of the year it was about $120 to $130. Tickets are definitely going to take up a major portion of your Disney World budget, and so finding ways to get cheap Disney World tickets can definitely help you to save a lot of money. But another thing that's going to take up a lot in your Disney budget is where you plan on staying for your visit, and the second tip you're going to want to use is to actually stay off property. When visiting Disney World, everyone of course wants to stay on Disney property, but stays at a Disney resort can get expensive very quickly. But if you really think about it, if your main goal for your trip is to visit the Disney parks all day every day, is it really worth it to stay at a Disney resort if you're just going to sleep there? A great alternative to staying on Disney property but still having some access to Disney World is by using some of the Disney Good Neighbor hotels. Essentially what these are is Disney has partnered with some hotels in the surrounding Disney World area. There's a large list of these resorts, and these resorts are great for a couple of reasons. Oftentimes they offer continental breakfast, free parking if needed, and they also have transportation to and from the Disney theme parks. Now when you think of staying on property at a Disney World resort, oftentimes you have to pay for parking extra, and breakfast is not included, so that's an added cost that you have to think of. I specifically wanted to pick out Best Western and give a little bit of an example into that one and why it's good to go with a Good Neighbor hotel. Now looking back at one of the cheaper times to visit Disney World in September, I picked an arbitrary set of dates from September 5th to September 9th to see how much it would cost to stay at a Best Western. It looked like it was $68 per night for a grand total of $308.20. Now let's compare that to staying on Disney property. As I mentioned, there are so many Disney resorts all over Disney property, and they definitely range in cost depending on where you're wanting to stay. But let's look at one of the cheapest places to stay on Disney World property at the Disney All-Star Resort, and choosing those same dates from September 5th to September 9th came up with a grand total. Now comparing the two, that is a huge cost consider lodging. It's nice because the cost of staying at one of these Good Neighbor resorts can help you to avoid spending more on breakfast or parking. Another great option for lodging when staying at Disney World off property is to choose an Airbnb in the area. There are condos, villas, houses, private rooms, so many options to think about whenever finding an Airbnb around Disney World. Oftentimes you can find very cheap stays, or if you have a large party of people, you can find an option that really accommodates a large group. But let's say for your vacation you absolutely want to stay on property at Disney World at a Disney World resort, and so the third tip I would recommend to you is to not pay full price for your resort stay. The one nice thing about staying on Disney property is that oftentimes Disney comes out with deals and discounts randomly throughout the year that you can apply to resort stays. Now with this, if you know when you're wanting to plan your visit or if you're flexible on dates, I would definitely recommend to go and check out the Disney World Deals and Discounts site on the Disney World website. Here you can see all of the resort discounts as well as discounts that you can find at Disney World. Currently at the time of this video, if you are a Disney Plus subscriber, you can get 25% off towards select resort stays from now until the end of September. Also, if you are a Disney Visa card holder, there are some discounts that you can apply towards select resort stays for around the same time period as the Disney Plus subscriber discount. And also, if you are an annual pass holder or a Florida resident, a lot of times there are discounts that apply to you. So definitely find ways to save some money when staying on Disney property, because I guarantee there's a discount out there somewhere. Food is another thing that is very quickly going to eat up your Disney budget, and the fourth tip I recommend to you is to have groceries delivered. When visiting the Disney parks, you may have seen that I always like to bring my own snacks and food with me, and if I am going on a Disney staycation, I always have groceries delivered to where I am staying. Now, of course, it's fun to eat in the Disney parks and try out a few restaurants, but doing that for every meal can definitely start to add up in your Disney budget. Generally, a meal at a Disney World quick service restaurant costs about $10 to $15 per person, and a restaurant can cost anywhere from $20 to $40 a person. And if you spread that out amongst your whole family, it can start to add up per meal per person. But a great way to combat that increase in cost is to have groceries delivered to where you are staying for your Disney vacation. I like to have breakfast items delivered and snacks to have to eat throughout the day, as well as some items to make sandwiches to eat for lunch in the parks. To do this, you can use any grocery delivery service that you know of to have the groceries delivered to your resort or your hotel, and there's a specific place that they will have the groceries placed that you can go pick them up. Another service you can consider using is called the Vacation Grocery Delivery. Essentially, this is a business run by cast members for cast members that are looking to earn some extra money. So you can request a delivery, name all of the things that you want to have in your order, and they'll have it delivered to your resort or your hotel. If you're looking to get some money back for the money that you're spending on your Disney vacation, the fifth tip you should apply here is to use Disney gift cards. If you have an estimate of how much your vacation is going to cost, or if you know how much you're planning on spending on your Disney vacation, I recommend purchasing that amount of money in Disney gift cards. The nice thing about these gift cards is that they can be used all throughout Disney property. You can use them to purchase your tickets, your resort stays, as well as merchandise and dining around the parks. And you may be thinking, well, what's the benefit of doing that? Why can't I just purchase it on my credit card? Because by using Disney gift cards, there's actually some ways that you can earn some money back when purchasing the gift cards. Let's talk about a few examples here to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If you have a Target Red Card, for all of your purchases made on the Target Red Card, you can get 5% cash back. You can also purchase the gift cards at Sam's Club, where they actually have Disney gift cards at a discounted price. Now, yes, it is a very slight discount, but everything counts whenever saving money for Disney World, am I right? An example of how my family likes to use gift cards is whenever we go to our local grocery store, as a member, we can actually earn money from our purchases towards fuel perks. So if we purchase some gift cards at the grocery store, the amount that we spend on the gift cards actually goes into money that we can get off per gallon of gas. Hopefully you have an idea of where I'm going with this, but essentially I recommend getting creative and seeing how you can use Disney gift cards to your advantage to get some money back or save some money. The sixth thing you can actually do to save money at Disney World is to plan an off day. Now, of course, when you think of Disney World, the thing that comes to mind at first is definitely visiting the theme parks. But I have to tell you, there's actually more to Disney World than just the theme parks. And a lot of time, all of these other offerings are free. One of my favorite things to do when visiting Disney World, if I'm not going to the parks, is actually to go resort hopping. Since Disney World transportation is free, I like to use it to hop around the different Disney resorts that are on Disney property to see how they're different and what all they have to offer. This may be a great thing for you to do with your family to have a relaxing day off from the parks, to save some money, and maybe even scout out some resorts for a future stay. Not only that, but visiting Disney Springs is another fun and free thing to do, besides the merch and the food that you may spend money on there. But it's a great place to walk around with friends and family, enjoy the stores that are there, some of the dining options, and also just to take in the Disney Springs atmosphere. Most likely your resort or hotel has a pool, and another great thing to do is actually just have a relaxing day at the pool. You already spent money on your resort or your hotel, you might as well take advantage of all of the amenities that come with it, so having a pool day is a great way to save some money and also have a break from the parks. The cost of Disney merchandise is another thing that can sneak up on you pretty quickly, and the seventh tip that I recommend to you here is to actually purchase merch ahead of time before your trip. One of my favorite things to do when going to Disney World is actually make my own ears and shirts that I wear to the parks. This allows me to get creative and make exactly what I want to wear to the parks, and it may be something that would be perfect for you if you are planning on matching with your family or want to have outfits planned out for your trip. But another great thing to do is actually purchase t-shirts and merchandise ahead of time at stores like Target, Walmart, or even Amazon. Merchandise is always going to be more expensive when visiting Disney World, so if you have an idea of what you want, it may be nice to purchase it ahead of time before your trip. That way you don't have to spend the extra money at Disney World. But I understand it's nice to purchase a souvenir or memento from your time when visiting the park. So with that, I recommend definitely having a budget for how much you want to spend on souvenirs and Disney merch, because it can get out of hand pretty quickly. The eighth tip to saving money at Disney World sounds funny, but it's to bring your own water bottle. Yes, even water at Disney World can be expensive, and if you're planning on purchasing multiple bottles throughout the day, that cost can definitely start to add up, especially if you spread it across your whole family. One thing I always talk about and recommend is staying hydrated when you're at the Disney parks, because it is very hot here in Florida and you're going to be doing a lot of running around from ride to ride or from park to park. So I always make sure that I have my own water bottle on hand, so that way I can fill it up routinely throughout the day and not have to buy multiple bottles when I'm at the park. You can fill up your water bottle at water fountains that are all around the parks, and also if you go to quick service restaurants, you can ask for a nice nice ice cold glass of water, or use the soda fountains that may be out to get some water. There can be a lot of extras that you can add on to your Disney vacation, and with that, the ninth thing I recommend is to skip the extras. Disney offers a lot of extras that can be added onto your Disney vacation, but there's a couple that I specifically want to highlight here, being Park Hopper tickets and Genie Plus. Now, we talked about single park day tickets earlier in the video, which means you can only visit one park per day, but if you have the Park Hopper ticket, you're able to hop around to the 4 different theme parks on Disney World property. Now, the Park Hopper tickets sound all good and fine, but they are extra money compared to your single park day ticket, which makes sense because you have access to more of the parks. Let's do a price comparison and see how much of a difference it actually is between a single park day ticket and a Park Hopper ticket. Thinking back to the cheapest time to visit Disney World the rest of this year in September, we'll look at our arbitrary dates of September 5th to the 9th, and for a single park day ticket for 4 days, it was going to cost $428.91 per person. Now, looking at the same time frame for a Park Hopper ticket for one person, it was going to cost $513.91. Now, that is an $85 difference between both of the ticket options, and again, spreading it out amongst your family can definitely start to add up in ticket costs. Moving on to Genie Plus, this is an added $15 per day per guest cost, and for a family of 4 for 1 day, that's an extra $60, and for the 4-day trip we've been looking at, that's an extra $240. Not to mention, when you look at the individual lightning lanes that aren't included in Genie Plus, you're looking at a cost of $9 to $17 per person, depending on the time that you're visiting and what attraction you're going to. So these are all added extras already onto the cost that you are already spending at Disney World, and if you find that they aren't necessary, you can definitely skip them. Now, of course, when planning a Disney vacation, you can either choose to use all or some of these tips, but it's just reassuring to know that even today, there's still ways that you can save money when planning a Disney vacation. If you're in the process of planning your Disney vacation, here are some tips that you can start using right now for your planning process, as well as some essentials that I think you should bring with you to the Disney park, so that way you can save some money and don't have to purchase them when you're there. Let me know what your favorite way to save money at Disney World is, and with that, we'll see you in the next video. See you guys!